Hello, my name is Dominic Underhallhouse and welcome to another upcoming unit of the day. Today we've got Rebuilder Texo. So this is another post on the Reddit page of the units that are going to be heading the way to Moonbreaker at some point in the future. We don't know when, but it's really exciting to see it. If you enjoy these videos, like, comment, subscribe. Everything you can do to support the channel is really appreciated. So first of all, we've got Rebuilder Texo. This is another Yeoweti robot. Here's a bit of his bio. Texo is the Swiss Army knife of field medics, needing to improvise by jerry-rigging his robot allies and more meaty friends back together in a pinch. Speaking of improv, he thinks being a doctor is his day job and he really wants to become a comedian. Here's what he looks like, his stats and ability. So here we go, we've got the Rebuilder Texo here. Small melee unit, gains 1 Cinder, 5 movement speed, a 2 Cinder ability, reinforced structure, restore 2 health to a crew, if fully restored, permanently increase its health by 4. I love this, just finding something that you really want to keep alive and just buffing it up and up and up before the enemy even get close is a really exciting way of doing things. 1 melee attack and 8 health, pretty reasonable for a 2-drop. You know, nothing spectacular, but it's a healer. We don't need anything more than that. So, finally a second healer. It's hard to believe we only have one so far, Stitchy McPatchy. I think Neck Divine sort of, it's not really a healer, it's a healing object. Quick backstory on Stitchy. I still classify Neck Divine as a healer, just to clarify. I named Stitchy about 4 years ago as a joke. Back when we were just getting started with the game, I'm imagining related to Boaty McBoatface. We had no idea what theme we were going to have, nor that we'd be working with Brandon Sanderson, or really anything, so the names of our units were pretty random. When it came to rename all the units for the early access release, we tried to change his name to something that fit around Reach's lore better, but the team revolted. People just loved this old bad name, and the reasoning for it even made it into one of the audio dramas. If you wanted to look at this, it's the Astra audio drama. Go ahead and check it out on Spotify if you haven't got the game itself. It's a really good audio drama. It's probably my favourite one until maybe the newest one. I did quite like the Zuna audio drama. I haven't talked about it yet, but I absolutely loved it. Back to the real post, Rebuilder Texo. We never wanted to think of our unit abilities as good or bad, and the game's all about infinite possibilities, so who are we to say that in some special situation you might want to heal an enemy unit instead of your own? It doesn't happen often, but it definitely happens. One of the things I had thinking about this was things like Flurry. If you're making the use of the enemy's Flurry to deal damage to their units, you don't want to kill it too early, you want to get a few more triggers out of it, heal their Flurry up and just churn a bit more damage out. It's, again, corner case like they said, but really interesting that it can come up sometimes and it can be something that you'd want to do. That's all very Moonbreaker to us, so going with that theme, I wanted to create an ability where you could turn something bad that happens, taking damage, into something good, increasing your max health. So that's what we have, a healer that when it heals a unit to full, actually increases their max health. So I really like this, especially the idea of things like units that damage themselves. So even though it's not necessarily sort of quite on brand, but you could sit in the backfield with this, with Crash and Rebuilder Texo, and every turn you could just use Crash, take 1 damage, not actually damage anything because you're not near it, heal it back up, increase its maximum health, and by the time Crash enters the battlefield, if you can create a safe enough board state to do so, it could be absolutely massive in terms of both damage and health. Activating twice, absolutely amazing. Love that idea. Really keen to see how people make use of this. The first version of this unit gave armor instead. It was cool and very powerful, but couldn't stack, so after you use it once, you couldn't use it on that unit anymore, plus didn't synergize with crew that already have armor. Armor is something that's been, I wouldn't say problematic, but it's been very difficult to balance in Moonbreaker so far, so I'm really glad that's not the direction that they went. We also learned that players love large numbers. Very true, I've been advocating for large numbers from the beginning. Units like Tipu create such amazing stories as they seem to transcend the match and become that time where your Tipu grew to deal 20 damage. It's absolutely true. I've had some amazing games of Tipu, even dealing like 11 damage in a PvP game felt incredible, so things that enable that are so much more fun. And then for both these reasons, we evolved Rebuilder Texo to add max health instead of giving armor. Looking for wickedly high health numbers and FODU, fear of damaging units, when we release this unit with our next headliner, end of June-ish. So there we go. Rebuilder Texo, the next unit. Another really interesting sort of, it's basically a healer that's not just useless if you don't have anything to do. So I just want to double check the ability again. Restore 2 health to a crew. I wonder if you can use this on a full health crew. If you can, even better, just buff things up for 2 per turn. If not, oh well, it's not the end of the world. It's still really useful, especially things like we said, Furia, Crash, things that have ways of damaging themselves. really great unit. So there we are, another little short introduction of an upcoming unit. If you like this, please do like, comment, subscribe, stick to this channel for everything you want to do with Moonbreaker. I'm trying to get as much content out as I possibly can do alongside other games as well, and I'm really having fun doing so. So thank you for watching and have a good day.